Back again with another TV deal for a singular team in the second tier of specific nations. But this time, we've made some tweaks to avoid some of the bollocks that happened last time with Italy and Spain. And I think we've left France out as well. We've gone to some other nations. We're in Portugal, Belgium, Scotland, Holland. Let's get into it. Well, first up, we are in England as ever because, of course, England is the hotbed of all finances in Football Manager. So, of course, why not give a bumper TV deal to a championship side? And, of course, a lot of you in the comments have suggested your own teams and suggested teams to do these things with. And Hull City was one of them. So if you were the guy that suggested Hull City, you're welcome. Hull have a TV deal. If we go to the finances, just have a quick look at the income, and there it is, 250 million. Now, I know some people last time did say, when I went on and checked where all the money was going, they said, the start date was 2043, maybe that's why. This changes every year. When you've got to renew income, when it's a one-year deal, every year it will change. So when we come back in the 2033 in 10 years' time, which is going to be our first jump, this will be, say, 2033 to 2034. Hope that clears that up. Anyway, Hull City are our English representatives. And in terms of the season preview, they're expected to finish mid-table. So, quite a way to go to get into the Premier League and stay there. Can they do it inside 10 years? We'll certainly find out. Of course, the success of the Bundesliga last time, well, there was so much suggestion for Bundesliga teams, or Bundesliga 2 teams, should I say. Of course, Hanover last time were very successful, arguably won the experiment, maybe with Saint-Etienne. It was a toss-up, wasn't it? Well, I think Hanover did edge it, if memory serves me correctly. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Correct me in the comments. Schalke 04, a fallen giant, a team that used to be top of the world, really, back in the day, and I say back in the day. I mean, they have won 7 Bundesliga titles in the 30s, 40s and 50s. But they did win the DFB Pokal 3 times since the turn of the century. So they have won some trophies and they have been a pretty decent side. Also, sorry, forgot to mention with Hull, as you can probably see here with Schalke, you might have seen it with Hull as well, max facilities. I've thought of giving max facilities as well as the finances just to sort of give them a little push in the right direction, because I can't be bothered with the teams not making it. I want a little bit of success everywhere. I don't want everyone I don't want to just be like, we can't bother with them because they're just doing rubbish. So yeah, Schalke, once again, income, there you go, £250 million per season. Now, in light of the fact that we did the Dutch TV deal in the second tier, and some of the teams had the money, some of the teams never got the money, and some of the teams had the money and then it just disappeared. Well, one of the teams that was with, De Graafschap, they had the money, it was coming through, and then out of nowhere, they just started having no money at all, which was mental. So, yeah, De Graafschap are our Dutch representatives today. And as mentioned in the intro, we've gone to Portugal and we've gone to Mafra. I don't know why I chose Mafra, but I did. So there you go. Mafra are today's team from Portugal. And yeah, we did go to the Jupiler Pro League. Now, I did want it to be Club NXT for the wrestling connotations, but for some reason, they've got like rules of only sign players under 23. I think, are they a feeder academy to someone? Look, forgive me, I've not done my research and I'm woefully uninformed. So I don't know why it says 5-star training facilities when the training facility is 13. So there's something amiss here with Club NXT, and we couldn't beat them. So we're with Beerschot because Dirk Kuyt is the manager and they're called Beerschot. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's all I've got to say about that. And finally, our final team represented in our TV deal is Inverness Caledonian Thistle, one of the best names in world football for any team. Fight me on that one. And we've got big, angry, vicious Duncan Ferguson as the manager. I'd love him to be in the Champions League final against one of the other teams, winning it. Probably won't happen, but hey, they're getting the money. They're probably going to dominate Scotland. I would have almost guarantee it. So there's your 6 teams. We've got 6 nations today. So we're going to start rattling through with a little bit of speed about ourselves. 10 years into the future, 2033. Let's get into it. Right, okay. We're in the English Premier Division straight away, and we see Hull are here in the Premier Division. So the past winners have been City, Liverpool, Newcastle have snuck one, and Arsenal. Ryan Mason's in charge of Newcastle, and Arda Güler is their captain. Jurgen Klopp is at Manchester City because Pep left 13 years to the day since he took the job, and he went to PSG. The Champions League's been won by, Newcastle have just won the Champions League as well. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, City, Arsenal. Okay, so we're not interested in that, are we? We're interested in Hull City. So they've got Gerhard Struber in charge, and let's have a look at how we've been getting on. Well, we came up from the Championship in what? At the fourth time of asking, and we steadily climbed 8th, 6th, 5th, 2nd. So a couple of playoff runs that were unsuccessful, and then we decided to bypass the playoffs altogether. Automatic promotion, bang, Premier Division. And we've been here ever since. One hairy season here in the 30-31 season where we finished 17th. Let's have a look how hairy that actually was. Very. 1 point. It was 1 point. So it could have been disastrous, but we've stayed up, and we've been finishing sort of lower mid-table, slash up. We've had a couple of we've had a top half finish, to be fair, in 9th there, but yeah, in the bottom half, but around mid-table, 12th, 13th, not doing too bad, quite consistent, to be honest. So it's a good foundation, it's a good start. Now they've got £708 million in the bank, £200 million in the transfer budget, and paying £6 million a week on wages. Let's have a look at who they're paying some of the big money to. Fabio Vieira, he's on the decline, and he was potentially 160. He's at £375,000 a week. A bit too much if you ask me. Now, £300,000 a week for Noah Lang, who is 34 years old, and I'm sorry, Noah, crap. 107 current ability. Here we go. Raul Blasquez, £300,000 a week, a 160-odd player. That's acceptable. When you're in the Premier League and you're really making that push, you're going to have to start paying big. And when you've got the money, pay big. That's fine. I've not got a problem with that. I'm happy with this. You've got a lot of players in the 140s. They need to improve this squad, but they've got a good foundation. You've got players here, like here. Look, Alan Simpson. He's on £140,000 a week. He's currently, he's a fairly professional wonder kid on 154 current ability. 156, sorry. 171 potential. So that's a player for you for the future. Or for now, really. 156 is probably going to be one of the better players in the squad. But you're going to get players into the 170s. A young player that's going to improve to that. Can't say fairer than that. He's actually come through the youth academy as well, which is courtesy of our jiggery pokery with the facilities. No FA Cup heroics here, but Fulham got to the final twice, and Leeds got there once. And no Carabao Cup heroics either. West Ham winning it there, which is slightly unusual. Southampton runner-up, Brighton runner-up, Burnley runner-up in the first season against Manchester United. So there you go. Right, so there's England ticked off the list, and we are saying Hull are doing okay. They're doing okay. Bundesliga then, and Schalke 04 are also in the Bundesliga, the past win as well. Schalke have finished second twice in the last 3 years, and they finished third 5 years ago. So a bit like Hanover, they really started to kick on. I mean, look here, Schalke were actually second in the 2017-18 season, so to come and take over them and give them this chance to sort of get back just a few years after their decline seems quite appropriate, really. A little bit of a fallen giant. Maybe there's a bit of a rebuild in there when I get to some of the lower league teams, when I've actually done a successful rebuild and not turned a club into a financial catastrophe. Go and check out the United rebuild if you've not seen it already. So Bayern Munich have basically won the league most seasons. Leverkusen and Leipzig have been there as well. Schalke, as we've seen, have finished in second place a couple of times. So let's have a quick look at the domestic league one. So they were in the 23-24 season. They finished fourth. Did not get promoted, but the following season they did get promoted, finishing first. And ever since they've been, stayed up and then bang, in the top half and in the top 5 really for the last 5-6 years. So they're on the move. They are on the move in terms of finances. They've got just over £500 million and they're spending £4 million a week on wages. Some of their better players are, you've got Nelson Ferreira, who is actually a very good player, who's on £375,000 a week. So you can't really say fairer than that. Asano Drago's still there. Is he? Yeah, he's still there, representing, and a good player as well. Brandon Soppy's gone there. Max Bayer. Ike Munoz, and a lot of these players are listed actually. I mean, they're on a lot of money, so I don't think anyone's going to come in and get them for that. So that's your problem. When you get a player that you don't want anymore, you can't really ship them off because you're paying them far too much money. Anyway, Schalke doing all right as well. Have they won any other trophies? No, but they did come runner-up in the German Cup in the 27-28 season. So Schalke are probably doing better than Hull at this... definitely doing better than Hull at this juncture, but... On we move. Right, so we did do France, so we go to Portugal, don't we then? And Mafra are also there in the league. Daniel Sousa's in charge. So they won the Portuguese second league in 24-25, finishing first. And then when they came up to the Premier League, and yeah, it's been a bit of a muchness, really. A bit like Hull, mid-table, lower mid-table. They did finish 7th once, which is quite good, but nothing really to speak of at the moment, and they've got very little money. So Mafra might be the team that... do not really do much, as you can see here. If we go to the finances, where's the TV deal gone? I've just reloaded the game. Let's go to Portugal just to find out what's happened, because the TV deal has just disappeared. Sorry, income. There you go, it's there. Right, well, we're not going to be checking in the Mafra then because the TV deal's gone. So, sorry, Portugal, you've failed me. But we will proceed because we do still have some of the teams doing well. If they all start to lose their TV deal, which that's not really ever happened to me before. It might have happened on the odd occasion, to be fair. Why am I looking in Eredivisie? Because the Eredivisie is where it's at, and De Graafschap are third and have £342 million in the bank. I would say that their TV deal is very much thriving. Yeah, there it is. There it is. And there you go. As you can see, the start date and end date has changed as per what I was alluding to earlier. So what the hell's happened with Mafra? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Because I certainly don't know. Right, De Graafschap then. De Graafschap. The Dutch Cup. In 2031, we've got a trophy. We have got a trophy, ladies and gentlemen. Right, the competition's first up. Let's look at the domestic leagues. We came up in the 24-25 season via a playoff run, finishing 5th. Then we've been in the top half of the Eredivisie every single season, finishing 3rd most recently. That's fantastic stuff. Pay nearly £4 million a week in wages. We did win the cup against Utrecht, who have actually been finalists and losers 3 seasons in a row. We were also runners-up in 26-27. And in terms of the squad then, and we are paying a bit again, we're paying big money, and again, paying big money for players that are actually a little bit rubbish. I mean, they're paying £165,000 for this guy, who's 174 current ability, 183 potential ability. He's unsporting, but he's very injury prone. But let me tell you, he's their best player in the squad and paying £165,000 a week. That's a steal. And then you're paying £325,000 a week for Yevgeny Hui, who is actually a bit rubbish. So, yeah, we're a little bit all over the place there with old De Graafschap, but they're doing all right as well. Jupiler Pro League then and Beerschot are also up here in the main division. 1.06 billion in the account. So their TV deal is also thriving. So what the hell's gone on with bloody Mafra? Who knows? Domestic leagues then. We've been... Oh, this is a nightmare. Right, we're never doing Belgium again. Because it's this league in second phase. Oh, this is hurting my eyes already. They haven't won the Pro League. Oh, when the Scottish Premier League has dropped. And look at that. Inverness Caledonian Thistle have won the last 3 seasons in a row. They've got nearly £1 billion in the bank. They're spending about £3 million a week on wages. Let's have a quick look at the squad before we look at their trophy haul. Well, look at this. They're not actually spending horrendous amounts. I mean, yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? In the 140s, it's probably not quite what you want to be spending this amount of money on. But it's better than spending £300,000 a week that some of the other teams are. And these guys are probably very good. Well, they're easily very good for the Scottish League because we've just seen they've won it 3 years in a row. There you go. Finishing their 3 years in a row. If you look at the competitions, look at the domestic leagues, they were actually... Well, look at that. They came up and they finished 9th. Then they finished 7th 3 times in a row, then 4th, and now 1st 3 times in a row. So they've done very well indeed. They've also won a Conference League against Sporting CP, who are actually the holders. 2030-31 they won that, so that's 3 years ago. And those 2 Scottish Cups, well, one of them is in this experiment. They actually came runner-up in the Scottish Cup in 22-23 season in real life. Did not know that. And they came runner-up against Aberdeen in the 29-30 season. So they've turned the corner, and I think they're going to start dominating Scotland for years to come. And I wouldn't be surprised if no one can come anywhere near them in the Premiership. By the time we come back in another 10 years, I won't be surprised. They've won it at least 8 more times. Wouldn't be surprised at all. And it's 10th. It was down in 14th in 2028, so not doing the best. Inverness Caledonian Thistle probably helping Scotland raise themselves back up the competition reputation with that Conference League win. Okay, so lay of the land. Inverness Caledonian Thistle obviously doing the best because they've won the league and they've won a Conference League. Mafra are done, eliminated. We're back down to 5 teams. Hull City okay. The Graafschap doing pretty well. Schalke doing pretty well as well. And Beerschot, it just hurts my eyes to look at the first phase, second phase. So, yeah, forgive me. We'll persevere with them, but we're never doing Belgium again. You better believe that. I don't care how good your chocolate is. So, 2043, and as you can see, Hull are still in the Premier League, and they have yet to win it. It's been Arsenal who've had a bit of a domination over this last 10 years. City started off doing pretty well. 3 wins in a row there, and then Arsenal with 5 in a row. Second to Spurs most recently. Spurs are also sort of chomping at the bit, looking for their first league win. As are we. We've got £440 million in the bank. We're overspending on the wages by £500 million. £400,000, yeah, sorry, £500,000. 6.36 we're spending a week. And the domestic leagues, well, we have achieved some European qualification over the last decade. Champions League finishing 4th, probably Champions League finishing 5th, Europa League finishing 6th. So we're representing in Europe here. We actually finished in the European places last season. So we are a Champions League side. There you go. UEFA Champions League. The media think we're going to finish 6th. So let's have a look at the squad, because finishing 6th in the Premier League is no mean feat. And if you look here at the wages, well, I'm sorry, Matic Babic, 150, 154, and on £450,000 a week. He's taken Hull City for an absolute ride. Alan Simpson, though, 400,000. He's a bit more like it. A bit more like it. And as we get down here, we're seeing things that are very, very, very acceptable. 167, potential 175. I'm not going to say his name. Fine, I will. 145 million they spent for him from Monaco, 240k a week, and we're going to go for it. Mudachiru Mahulikponto. A good name. It's a strong name. I'd love to hear him ringing up to complain about his council tax, or talk to Sky about a new deal. Yeah, can I just take your name, please, sir? Yeah, it's Mudachiru Mahulikponto. Yeah, can you spell that for me, please? Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it's M for Mudachiru. Oh dear. I'm not even funny, am I? I made myself laugh, though. The main thing. So Hull are doing okay. Sorry for that little side. But yeah, in terms of wages, much for muchness, isn't it? It's one of those things that I'm accepting it because we're giving them the money. Like, you've got to spend it somewhere, and they're spending it on players in their squad is going to be top 6. They're going to get in the Champions League, and they can start to strengthen from here and start to filter out some of the players that are overpaid. I mean, all players are overpaid, aren't they? Of course, but like, what I mean is, like, these 400,000s, we're going to be getting players in the 170s, 180s, and that's going to be essentially worth it in the context of other teams doing the same sort of thing. So Hull City, not doing too bad in terms of other trophies. Well, they've won sod all else. So on we move. So back to the Bundesliga, and it's Schalke 04, and unfortunately, they haven't done very well at all. 3rd is their best finish in the last decade. They've got £1 billion in the bank. They're spending £3 million a week less than they're allowed. I mean, again, the top earners, chalk and cheese. Perry McNamara, I'm sorry, you are not worth £350,000 a week. They've actually signed him from De Graafschap, one of our other teams. £61 million. Bet they loved that. But then you got Emmanuel Herrera, 173. Yeah, over 170. I'm going to accept any wages over 170 because 170 is world class. As per the Wonder Kid Wheel. Another one coming soon. Always welcome those suggestions as well, so let me know in the comments. And now's as good a time as any, because we're a nice chunk into the video. If you're not subscribed already, just bloody subscribe. Get that graphic up, Editor J. Come on. Get subscribed. We want to kick on. We want the next milestone. What that milestone is, I don't know, but come on. Subscribe. Over 70% of you aren't subscribed who are watching these. I won't blame you. But loads you keep coming back. Returning viewers is well up. You keep coming back, but you're not subscribed. Make it easy for yourself. So they've come run up in the cup as well, most recently actually, against Leipzig in the 42-43 season. So in the league, we've not been doing great. Let's just have a quick look at, oh, here we go, in domestic leagues. Yeah, 4th has been our position, really. I mean, last season was 12th. That was shambles. An absolute shambles. And the Europa League, we came runner-up in the 34-35 season. They've just won in the past. We have won a Conference League, though. The second Conference League of the experiment, and that is in the 35-36 season. And the only Conference League in this last decade. Let that be known. Right, so, Schalke. A disappointing 10 years, really, although a Conference League win. But domestically, in the league, I'm not very happy with how they've done. I thought they'd have won a trophy, especially considering how well they did do. In terms of squad, it's much of a muchness, isn't it? I don't think they've done too much better. You've got some good players, some bad players, and what they're paying is sort of, about expected. I mean, they're overpaying for a couple, underpaying for a couple. They're doing okay for a couple. They've got to play with one of the best Barnets in world football, Milovan Markovic, and that's where we're going to leave Schalke in the Bundesliga. So next, we'll look in here. Mafra again. Is the TV deal come back? No, but they've got a better TV deal now. Mid-table. Eredivisie, hello. 3rd place, De Graafschap, but we can see 4 years ago in the 39-40 season, they did actually win the title. And that's the only time they have done. They've come 3rd place here, and yeah, 2nd in the 33-34 season. We were last here in 32-33 where they did finish 3rd. So we've had a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 1st. So again, considering they were 3rd last time we were here, I'm a little bit disappointed. With how they've done. 8th. 4th, 5th and 6th is really where they've been finishing. So they've been in the Europa League sort of places, I think. Oh, maybe not. maybe not, as Willem 2 have got no European football from 6th. Right, okay. Dutch Cup. We have 2 Dutch Cups. We'd already got a Dutch Cup. We've got a second. And a couple of runners-up as well. So 37-38 was the season where they lifted the trophy. Financially, they've got £258 million in the bank. Now, this is a kind of a thing what happened in the TV deal, second tier of the Dutch league. They had the money early doors, they were getting the money, then out of nowhere it just started to disappear. And again, they're only spending £3.28 million on wages. I think that's less than what they were spending last time. I can't be bothered to go back again, but I think it might be. And they've got considerably less money. So by the time we come back again, I won't be surprised if they're sort of bankrupt. Has the TV deal disappeared? Has the TV deal disappeared? Maybe that was going on in the Dutch TV deal. What's happened to Mafra? Maybe that's what's happened. No, it's still there. It's still there. I come up with all these theories and hypotheses, and then they prove me wrong. I think I just keep breaking the game. But just a TV deal. How's that broken the game? Right. Tillman Ensman. What a name. What a name. Now that would be a surefire Wonderkid wheel Wonderkid. You better believe it. Tillman Ensman. I'm going to remember that for another Wonderkid video. And he's getting £245,000 a week. Let's have a look then. He's the highest paid player, and he's in the 150s. Slightly overpaid, but borderline acceptable. 55 caps for Germany as well, so he's an internationally renowned superstar. Anyway, we didn't do Liga Uber Eats, did we? Oh, well, we're not going to the Jupiler Pro League next. We're going to the Cinch Premiership because that... Actually, no, we're not. We're going to go to the Jupiler Pro League because we're going to spend very little time here. You better believe it. Right, Beer Shot, Europa League, past winners. Finished third a few times. That's it. We're not going in to look at their previous positions in the league because it just absolutely hurts my eyes. £1 billion in the bank, spending, you've got 8 million to spend on wages, they're spending £976,000. What? They're really keeping a tight purse string over here. £83,000. Their squad's crap as well. You'd think he'd be getting players in the 140s, 150s, but no, they're not. Jim de Bert, love that. Owen Pletinks, fantastic name. Mathieu Campagnari, Anisette Kone, Mustafa Abbas, Lulu Valport. Oh, bloody brilliant, isn't it? Bloody brilliant. Right. Okay, well, there you go. There's Belgium, and underwhelmed. Didn't do great. They're underspending. I don't know what's happening there. They got the money, though, so maybe something happened in the 50s. The Cinch Premiership then, and I did say 8. And they've only gone and given us a perfect 10. 10 in a row, adding to the 3 previously. That's 13 in a row for Inverness Caledonian Thistle. They are, hands down, the best team in Scotland. They've got £836 million in the bank. They're now playing at the Barry Wilson Park, which was built in 2036. Barry Wilson is a club legend, apparently. £8 million in the wage budget, £3.5 million being spent. The Scottish Cup, they've only won it 5 times in their history, and those 5 times have been in this experiment. 1, 2, 3, 4. False. 1 down here in 2014-15. If only I could count, ladies and gentlemen. 4 times in this experiment, 3 in the last decade, 2 runners-up in the last decade as well. So in the final 5 times in the last 10 years, and as mentioned, they've won the league 10 times in a row. And how dominant are they winning it by? Yeah, absolutely killing it. By, 10 points there, 30 points there. 26 points. So 16 points that. 21 points. Yeah, absolutely dominant. They've got loads of money and they're spending, 275,000, 162. Very acceptable for the Scottish League. 240 at 137, not acceptable in my opinion. However, at this play rate, he's not going to make his potential. Okay. Oh, here we go. Again, it has to be a perfectly bloody... I mean, if I had that... If some people might think I'm making this up and I'm making these Wonder Kids, I'd just leave it simming. Like, it's just so coincidental that they're all these bloody great names. Right, £15 million, £72,000 a week on a player that is resolute, 151 current ability, 179 potential. He'll almost certainly make it there. And his name is Jan Shiboko Mafumbi. Let that sink in. Literally let that sink in. Right, I'm looking at some of these. Rivaldo Bodhurt. And of course, we did see in the Europa Conference League, Schalke were the only team to win it. If we go to the Europa League, I think we touched in here, because Schalke were runner-up. No winners in the Europa League so far in 20 years. And in the Champions League, of course, no winners either. Right, so there we go, 20 years down. Let's go another 10 to 2053. Oh, hello. Blame Bud, 183. £425,000 a week, £90 million from Brighton. Hull City, currently 8th in the Premier Division. They have still yet to win it, but they finished 3rd 4 or 5 seasons ago. Manchester United have most recently winning it. Arsenal, City and Tottenham are the ones doing pretty well indeed. Hull City then, we've won the FA Cup in 2045. a trophy for Hull City, beating Arsenal in the final. And domestically, we've been qualifying, 12th back here. Again, another awful season, but most seasons we're getting into some form of European competition. Last season was 6th, it's probably Europa League. 4th, 5th and 3rd, that's all Champions League there. So if we have a look at the Premier Division and the season preview, yeah, Europa League football from finish, and the media think we're going to finish 5th. We've got £500 million in the bank, spending nearly £7 million a week on wages, and in terms of players, £450,000 a week for this guy, Ian Edwards. Again, straight off the bat, I'm fuming. Not only that, they spent £50 million on the bugger. Blaine Bud, fantastic. Again, £90 million, bargain, 183, £425,000 a week, fine. Here you go, Daniel Jimenez. Again, fantastic. £37.5 million from Spurs. What a bargain he is. £375,000 a week, 185. Yeah, unbelievable. Some great signings here and some great players. No wonder they're finishing in the sort of top echelon. The problem is, though, is they're not going to really win any European trophies. Well, they might win the Europa League this season, actually, because they're in it. But they're not really winning any European trophies because they're probably not good enough. Well, they're not good enough to win the Premier League, so they're probably not good enough to win the Champions League. And they're not going to be in the others, are they? So it is what it is. They have won the FA Cup, though, so fair play, Hull. Bundesliga then, Schalke, and again, a couple of thirds and a second. Schalke have really let me down. £1 billion in the bank. Paul Zenke is in charge. Has been for just about a year. Loads of money there. Loads of money free in the wages. The squad is this guy. This guy's joining United. He's joining United for £71 million. He played 37 times for United this last season. He's just a 159 player. He's decent, but is he worth £400,000 a week? Not really. Don't know what that noise was either. Again, their team is moving through the gears. They are starting to get better, but I think they're overpaying for what they've got. And what they've got is not doing the business because they're not winning trophies. That's all I've got to say. The DFB Pokal, okay, they've won that twice. They've won that twice in the last 4 years, so we are starting to make some moves. We'll come back and look at Conference League. We have another winner. We have a runner-up of Hull as well. So I said they're not going to be winning European trophies because they're not in them. They're in the Conference League and they couldn't win it. Hull, you let me down. Right, De Graafschap have won the Conference League as well. Let's just quickly look. They've also just won the Europa League, so that's back-to-back. So they're going to be in the Champions League now. Inverness, Caledonian Thistle runners-up in the Europa League. And of course, Hull came run-up in the Champions League final. 49.50. Absolute madness. Right, so Schalke. Again, they've underwhelmed, actually. Not won anything in this last few years, so sad. Sad times. Are Mafra still in the top division? They certainly are. Has their TV deal come back? No. What on earth's happened there? Well, look at that. In the last 10 years, De Graafschap have won 3 more, finished second 3 times, third once. They're in amongst it. They've got nearly £300 million and they're spending nearly £5 million in wages. So they've kept hold of some of their money. I said not going to be happening for them. Well, they've won a Europa League as well. This last 10 years has been the decade of De Graafschap, hasn't it? Spending reasonable amounts on, spending quite big on a lot of players, and the wages to the player ability for this league is borderline acceptable. Slightly overpaying again, but again, it's all relative. If you've got the money and you need to spend it, you need to spend it to, like we all overspend on wages on players. There's always players that you buy, you offer them too much money because you think they're going to strengthen your squad, and within 3 years they're surplus to requirements because you've grown well past their ability, because they were good at the time but not good enough in the future, and you're still paying them exorbitant wages. And that's what's happening here. You know, you've just got to sometimes you just got to have a Brad gamble on someone, eh? Anyway, De Graafschap have done all right. De Graafschap have done all right so far in this last 10. We'll quickly just stop in on the Jupiler Pro League. Beerschot won 5 of the last 10. Couple of runners up as well, and a third place, so they're on the move. In terms of cup competitions, is that the main cup in Belgium? The Croquis Cup? Maybe. Yeah, it is. If you look at competition reputation, it's the highest Belgian cup competition. So yeah, they've won the Croquis Cup a couple of times as well. 3 times, 4 times in this experiment, should I say. Okay, so Beerschot doing all right. We're not looking in on previous seasons again. As I say, it's just a mess. Spending over 3 million this time, though. Last time it was just about 1 million, wasn't it? So spending over 3 times the amount, got about £1 billion in the bank, and their squad is a couple of really big hitters, and then we go down into the hundreds, so it's not too bad. But I mean, Christian Rivas, 118 current ability, he's on £185,000 a week. His contract's expiring. They've bought him from Inverness Caledonian Thistle as well for £9.5 million. He didn't do much for Inverness either. I bet he got paid loads there as well. He's been stealing a living as old Christian Rivas. Not very Christian of him, is it? Eh? No? Fine. And finally, the Cinch Premiership. Well, Celtic have snuck one in the 46-47 season, Inverness finishing second. Other than that, the other 10 have been Inverness. 22 times they've won the Premiership now, and they've won the Cup another few times in the last decade, another 3. Fair play to them. So, Conference Leagues then, De Graafschap, as we've seen, have won. And they won the Europa League, and then, of course, Hull in the Champions League. So we've already covered that. So that's the end of 53. On we go to 63, the penultimate jump, because we've gone over 50 years. It's like 78-ish, so his last jump will be 15 years. Let's go to 63. And can Hull City do anything? They're close. They might. They might just do it. Ooh, okay, so they just finished third. They've just finished third. Oh, it's the best finish in the last decade. It's their best finish in the last decade. They've had a couple of third places, but they're more of a 4th, 5th and 6th kind of team. 5th and 4th mainly over the last 10 years. A couple of 6th and 1 3rd, but mainly 4th and 5th, which is Champions League qualification. They've got over 300 million, nearly 400 million pound in the bank. They're spending over 7 million pounds on wages. Their squad, well, 625,000 pounds a week on Nick Cooper. Now, he's a decent player. Is he quite 625,000 pounds a week? Almost certainly not. 166 current ability. A lot of players in the one. Oh, here we go. Fabio Rissato is on 350,000 pounds a week. Now that is what I'm saying. He is 184 current ability, potential ability of 199. What a player he is! They've got some superstars here, and they've got Can Erbilmis, 176 out of 188, 250k. So they're actually spending considerably less on some of their better players in the squad. 175 here for Renato on 350 as well. They're spending big, but they've got some good players and they're doing all right. So I'm quite pleased with how they've actually done so far. The FA Cup, though, not been won by them. Runner up again in the 56-57 season. Last time they won it was in 44-45. The only time they've won it, was in 44-45. We'll be checked in on that last time. Okay, so DFB Pokal, well, that's been won multiple times by Schalke in this experiment, but only once in the last decade. Runner up most recently. And in terms of the Bundesliga, well, Schalke have finally won it. 58-59. They've got themselves a trophy. A couple of second places as well, and a third in this. But Borussia Dortmund are absolutely flying, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely loving life. Schalke, though, £1 billion in the bank. £5 million spending on wages. 8 million available to spend. And yeah, 475 for Magno Alves Freitas. And he's pretty good at 179. You can't really grumble at that when we're looking at some bigger money for lesser players. So, yeah. I don't know. The jury's still out on Schalke. I feel like they did well in the first 10 years, and I thought that was going to be the foundation for them kicking on. And unfortunately, it's just not happened, has it? They've missed the mark, missed the boat, whatever. Slightly underwhelming. How's Mafra doing? With no TV deal, they're now in the Conference League. Mafra, well, these people are worth keeping an eye on, haven't they? They have been worth keeping an eye on. Eredivisie then, De Graafschap have been dominant. 2 defeats all season, no draws in the most recent season. 96 points. As close to as good as you could get. They've won every single year for the last 9, except once, where Feyenoord won and they finished second. Feyenoord have been second for the majority of that time as well. And Ajax have been third for the majority of the time, except in the second and then maybe fourth. So De Graafschap doing very well indeed. 367 million. So they've kept hold of their money. They've kept themselves there at just over the £300 million mark. They're now spending £5 million a week on wages. And again, their squad is... it's this... There's very rarely a time when I'm coming in and I'm like, this is fine. This is amazing. Yeah, I'd be spending that. It's just one of those things where they're just a bit off. Like if these were all in the 160s at these prices, I'd be saying that's phenomenal. But they're just... Or if they're all in like the 200s, I'd be like, it's phenomenal. They're just slightly off in their alignment of value for current ability. So, it is what it is. But De Graafschap have won the Eredivisie multiple times in the last 10 years. 8 times, I think. So they're on it. Jupiter Pro League and Beerschot did have 4 years in a row, sandwiched in between Union SG's dominance. And they have been phenomenal, Union SG. Beerschot have £1 billion and they're spending just over 2 million. So again, they're spending less than they were last time. And again, their team is just, again, they're spending very appropriately down here. It's just, there's a couple of players that just bump that wage up and it's just not quite good enough. But Julian Carletti is actually underbid from Sheffield Wednesday. Joaquin Lopez is joining from Real Madrid. Loan from Schalke, sorry. Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway. And finally, the Cinch Premiership and Inverness Caledonian Thistle have retained their 10-year dominance. Another 10 for them. Joby Bellingham is in charge. They don't win the cup that often, do they? How often they're winning the league and how dominant they are in the league. They're not winning the cup very often, which is kind of surprising, really. £269 million in the bank, spending just over £3 million in wages. And yeah, the players again are, I think they're overpaying for these. Yeah, 446 current ability, £450,000 a week. Nah, it's just not good enough, is it? It's just not good enough at all. Marco van Breukelen, what a great name that is. 200k a week at 129. Not having it. Not having it, sorry, Marco. Not having it at all. In the last 10 years, then the Conference League has not been won by anyone. Schalke did come runner-up, though. We have had 2 Europa League wins, though. We've had Schalke and Hull City. So Hull are on the board for a trophy, as well as the FA Cup, of course. And Champions Leagues. Oh, Schalke runner-up. Our second runner-up, but no Champions League win. Oh, there's not long left. There's 15 years. There's 15 years, and I'm not sure anyone's going to win the Champions League. Can someone do it? If they win the Champions League, they've won the experiment for me. Even though Inverness have won the league 20-odd times, 30-odd times. I don't know. It's 2078, I think it is. The West Ham are now dominating the Premier League. They've won 3 in the last decade. Hull are 4th, and we finished 2nd so many times. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. West Ham have even won a Champions League. Hull City, unfortunately, we are 4th. And yes, loads of 2nds, as we've seen. We had a 7th back here, but just not quite good enough. Not quite good enough. The senior squad, well, there you go. This is what I'm talking about. Angelo Palermo, 191, getting £450,000 a week. Signed for 111 million from Oxford United. Oxford United. All right. Kern Franklin, 188, 400k. Few in the 170s. I mean, they're the 2 key men. There's Oxford United getting Europa League football. Who else is in the Premier League then while we're here? Let's have a quick look. We've got, it's a hell of a lot of difference. A hell of a lot of difference. Man City down mid-table. Liverpool in the bottom half. Chelsea 5th. United 3rd. Arsenal 2nd. Spurs 6th. Any big teams in the Championship? Aston Villa. Newcastle have just won it. Brighton down there. Fulham. Forest are getting relegated into League One. There you go. Right, so Premier League done. Hull City, unfortunately, never won a Premier League. Never won a Premier League. And just, they've won a couple of FA Cups, though, in the last 15 years, in the 66-67 season and 67-68, back-to-back FA Cups. Run up a couple more times as well. That's 3 FA Cups in the experiment, but no Premier League. Bundesliga is the 2nd best league in the world currently at the moment. Schalke down in 8th, getting Champions League football. They've won a European trophy, almost certainly. Well, we'll check in on that in a moment. Schalke have won 1 more league amongst Dortmund's dominance. And their team, again, Ayub Abdallah. This is what I'm saying. £425,000 a week. I've just gone on Hull, 191 current ability, 450. 153 here for Ayub Abdallah. Not great. Sergei Balashov, though, 350k a week, 182. That is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But only 2 Bundesliga titles. They've won another couple of DFB Pokals, though, so not too bad for Schalke there. De Graafschap are absolutely running away with it. Well, I say that. Them and Feyenoord have been alternating, and it's been quite even ever since, yeah, in that 1, 2, 3, 6 for Feyenoord, 9 for Graafschap. So, yeah, Graafschap has still had the edge. I don't think we checked in on the Dutch Cup up to this point. I mean, they've won a hell of a lot of Dutch Cups, haven't they? Look at this. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 in a row, and then 3 in the next 5 years. 9 in like 10 years or whatever. And in terms of finance, got £440 million in the bank. So they've managed to hold on to their finances, which was something that they did not do in the other experiment. Quick stop in on Mafra. They're gone. Where are Mafra? Relegated in the final season. Relegated from the 2nd tier. How devastating is that? Oh dear. Jupiler Pro League then. Quick step in on Beerschot. Again, them and Union SG and Anderlecht are the ones to do it. But Beerschot haven't won that many. Haven't won that many in the last few years. £1 billion in the bank. Spending 2.5 on wages. And the Cinch Premiership, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Inverness have won it since 47-48 season, and that was the only time they didn't win it from the 30-31 season when Celtic won it. And the most recent season, they finished 2nd behind Dundee United. Andy Groot Farm with the best moustache and hairdo combo I've seen in a while. 46 Premierships in 55 years and 19 Scottish Cups. One of them was in real life, so 18 Scottish Cups in those 55 years. Now, got £380 million in the bank. The squad, 350k a week on a 135 player. Deary me. Less we say about that, the better. Right. European football then. Last 15 years, no conference leagues. Hull and Schalke have both won a Europa League again, so that's 2 Europa Leagues each for those two teams. Hull won up as well in the 73-74 season. And finally, has anyone won a Champions League? Oh my God, they have. Hull have won 3. Hull have won 3 Champions Leagues. They've never won a Premier League, but they've won 3 Champions Leagues. It was PSG and Real Madrid in the last 3 years, 2 of them. Have they won it? Have they won the experiment? Hull might have won the experiment. What do you reckon? That's mad. That's mad. If you have a quick look on internationals, let's just look over the Euros and World Cups just to see if there's any mad winners. Turkey winning the Euros here twice. Once in 2028. Beating Norway in the final. England beating Poland in the final there. So it's all over the place at the moment. Belgium losing to Portugal in the 2060 season. Netherlands losing to France in 2056 season. So yeah, Denmark winning after coming run up to Turkey. England run up 3 times in 4 tournaments as well. They've won a couple. And in terms of World Cups, Uruguay have won 1. Spain have won a few. Portugal, Morocco in 2030 beating Brazil in the final. How crazy is that? Golden generation of Morocco winning the World Cup, now equal 33rd in the world. Well, that's it. That's today's experiment. And who has won the experiment? Is it Hull City with 3 Champions Leagues, despite no Premier League trophies? Hang on, I missed this. They did win it in 2064. I bet you all in the comments bloody saying it. There you go. 2064. There you go. Yeah, they did win it. Oh, my word. Yeah, there. I've missed it. I've just completely missed it. So they have won a Premier League. So they did nick one. 63-64. Let's go and have a look at it. The famous season where Hull City lifted the Premier League trophy and then went on to win 3 Champions Leagues. Well played, Hull. I think they've done it. I think Hull have done it. That's enough for me. Schalke underwhelmed with how well they started. Beerschot didn't win enough European trophies. De Graafschap did okay in Holland. Inverness Calais did very well in Scotland, but didn't do anything in the European stage, really. Which Hull City did. It translated. They've gone on. So there you go. That's the end of today's experiment. Thank you very much for watching. Do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments down below any ideas you might have for future experiments, but most importantly, take good care of yourselves, gang, and I'll see you soon.